What up, homies? Welcome back, Conspiracy University. All right, y'all. So, look, I'm gonna go over this the Standard Oil, the history of the Standard Oil Company. Just gonna break this down real quick. It's not gonna take too much of y'all time, and I'm gonna show exactly how these people have kept it in the family, and how they always gonna keep it in the family, and they got a monopoly on this SHIT. You feel me? But look, check it out, y'all. As you can see here on my screen, I have this right here pulled up, from Dividend.com, the history of the Standard Oil Company, an infographic. In the early 1900s, Standard Oil was one of the largest names in the world. The company had its reach all across the United States and was headed by none other than the famed entrepreneur John D. Rockefeller. But that all changed in 1911 when the company was forced to fracture into a number of parts due to the firm being considered a monopoly. I repeat, that all changed in 1911 when the company was forced to fracture into a number of parts due to the firm being considered a monopoly. What many may not realize is that these fractured parts would eventually make up the firms that are currently the most dominant in the crude oil/fossil fuel industry. Public outcry began to grow in the early 1900s, forcing the United States to enact the Sherman antitrust laws in order to break up this mega company. It is estimated that if the company was still together, its market cap would be in the excess of $1 trillion and would easily be the largest company in the world. Instead, the United States forced the company to dissolve into 34 different firms. To learn more about the companies that went up against the antitrust laws, be sure to read Five Big Mergers and Their Battle with Antitrust Laws. The only other company to be split in such a manner was AT&T. In 1984, when the firm was first dissolved into the baby shells, 7 of the Standard Oil spin-offs continued to have such a strong presence that they were dubbed the Seven Sisters and would go on to be the foundation for today's oil industry. All right, so this is a very important part right here, okay? Because it says it is estimated that if the company was still together, its market cap would be in excess of $1 trillion. All right. So let me tell y'all something, right? The company's still together, right? The company's still together. They still got a monopoly on it, and they all kept it in the fam, right? So, all right, y'all, look, check it out. As you can see, let me move this over here. Try to get this out the way. As y'all can see, here's a chart, okay? This is a chart of how it started and how they broke it down to these 34 different companies. So, you got the Standard Oil Company right here, right? Founded by industrialist John D. Rockefeller in 1870. These people here, the ops, they on the list, all right? Let's not forget that. But as I was saying, look, it started off as a Standard Oil Company, all right? And it shows here how they supposedly broke it down, okay? So this is what happened. You got Mr. John here, you got Johnny Boy. You know, he had his wife. I'm sure they had a few kids. So then, you got this one right here, Standard Oil Company. This one probably went to his firstborn, probably little Duncan. Duncan probably took over this one. Right here, we probably got Austin. Austin come over here and take care of this one. He probably got one of the, he probably got a daughter that's really out there. She probably like had a few kids while she was young, probably named Shannon. This probably went to Shannon. You got this one right here. He probably listened to one of his nephews or something. One of his other nephews got out of prison, real bad on drugs, changed his life around. He got this one right here. And then these two, of course, he had the side chicks over here. He had to make sure he had his side chicks over here taken care of because he had kids with them as well. So then, they went ahead and passed it on to their family. Then this one to their family. Then more over here. You see this little gap? I don't know what the gaps were right here, but I guess, none of this matters because at the end of the day, it all goes back to this right here. It all goes back to that right there. So you mean to tell me that when they made him break this thing up into 34 companies, excuse me, that he did not know what he was doing and who he was going to break these companies into? Or who he was going to give them to, or how they were going to break them up? I can almost assure you guys, each one of these other companies is still somehow, some way, this man's bloodline. All right, this man's DNA is whoever's running these things. There, well, maybe except for the old Duncan up here. He probably got real bad on crack cocaine, and he's probably doing it, living with prostitutes on the streets right now. No telling y'all, you know what I'm saying? But when you look at this and you put it into perspective, and you see these names, Exxon, Chevron, you see all these names, and it's like, wow, I can't even fathom the amount of money that these people have that their family has, and then it all makes sense as to how could somebody actually rule the country, right? How could somebody rule a whole entire nation of people? Well, with that bread, right? This man right here, he got that bag. John D. Rockefeller got a couple bags, and I would say it probably wouldn't be too hard with this amount of money and wealth in your hands in all of these oil companies. And to keep it real, I mean, we shouldn't even need petroleum anymore, right? What do we still need gas in our cars for? If we're being honest. But what do I know? I'm not a scientist, engineer, doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm really none of those things. But it is what it is, y'all. But as always, I respect and appreciate every single one of y'all who come over here and rock with me. Y'all keep your eyes open out there. Stay safe, homies.